Okay, hello to everybody. I'm Ploutarchos Sakellaris. We are very happy and fortunate to have with us today Gulru Atak, who is the Global Head of Innovation for Treasury and Trade Solutions for CITI. Gulru, welcome. I know that the your presentation or intervention will be about something as important as the future of money. And usually we economists have the privilege of looking at the crystal about the future, but this time it's you. So I'm happy not to do that. So please go ahead. We are very eager to hear you and welcome to Delphi.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ploutarchos. I'm so pleased to be here and I'm so pleased to speak about the future of money today. But I just want to first take a step back and maybe explain what digital money is or what it is not, right? So basically, when we speak about money today, most of the time we use digital and e-money interoperably. What we mean with e-money versus digital money is actually something different. Digital money is something very specific. It is new. It is emerging. And we are just seeing the implications and the adoption very recently. So what is digital money really? First of all, digital money is a tokenized form of money compared to the current e-money or the fiat money, which is an account-based format of money. The second is the underlying technology that digital money uses is mostly blockchain and distributed ledger technology. Maybe not all the time, but most of the time. The third is around the distribution of the digital money. So the money can be distributed by certain issuers where the liability relies on a regulated entity or a non-regulated entity, or it can be completely decentralized, as in the case of cryptocurrencies. And maybe the last point is that the value of digital money is either pegged to a fiat currency or it is actually defined by the supply and demand. So what are some of the forms of digital money that we see today? I can summarize it maybe in three types. One is central bank digital currencies, which is a really hot topic of these days. Like more than 80% of central banks are actually exploring the application of digital money. And why it is important for central banks is because it brings in certain advantages in controlling the monetary supply, enabling financial inclusion, efficiency in payments, and we can count more benefits. The second type of digital money I would like to mention is stable coins, where the issuer might be a private entity, which is regulated or non-regulated. It might be backed by some reserves, by some assets, not all the time. And again, with stable coins, the price of the stable coin is pegged to a fiat currency or the underlying asset, which brings in price stability. And then the last form, which is like the most known probably of digital money today because of the market dynamics, is the cryptocurrencies, where it is completely decentralized. It's a peer-to-peer architecture. The supply is most of the time limited, which brings in scarcity and long-term value of the currency. And there's no issuer, actually. It is completely decentralized. However, because of the supply and demand dynamics, the price is extremely volatile. The most non-common type of cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. And currently the market cap of the cryptocurrencies are around $2 trillion, half of it being generated by Bitcoin. The second biggest one is Ethereum, and then there's a long tail of cryptocurrencies, which are, I think, we have more than 4,000 different cryptocurrencies around the world. So this is in a nutshell what digital money is about. If we think about the certain uses or what we use digital money is, we summarize this in two actually main functionalities. One is store of value, and the second is means of exchange. So store of value is like more of an investment or an asset that companies are keeping as part of their portfolios, and means of exchange is where you really use it to purchase goods, services, so it's payments and receivables. If we look at the different types of the digital money, so far the cryptocurrencies are mostly heavily used as a store of value because of the changing price dynamics. But stable coins and central bank digital currencies we see to be more of a means of exchange to bring in efficiency and speed, always on type of functionalities for mainly payments. We mentioned that the most specific function of or feature of digital money is tokenization. So it's a tokenized form of money. What does really tokenization bring as a benefit is the fact that it is programmable, the fact that you can keep it in your digital wallet. It's not account-based, so it's most likely like physical cash in our wallets, but it is a digital form of it. And then the programmability feature actually brings certain dynamics that you can write smart contracts to program the transfer, the means of exchange, to bring in certain conditions, to type different, like to build different instruments over this tokenized form of money. We see like over the last probably 18 months to 2 years, there's significant interest from different stakeholders on digital money, mainly around central banks. As I mentioned, more than 80% of central banks are exploring the central bank digital currencies, the most progressive one being China. The first launch of central bank digital currency was by Bahamas. So they launched their cents dollars lately, and it's being in use at the moment. And then we see great interest from investors as a store of value in cryptocurrencies and cryptocurrency leveraging the instruments that are leveraging cryptocurrencies like derivative instruments or ETFs. And in terms of stable coins, some examples that we can give is USDC in US, or Diem, which is a consortium led by Facebook. It was originally called Libra. And then for stable coins, we see more and more interest actually to leverage for cross-border payments or some programmable smart contracts. So maybe let me pause here and see if you have any questions.
Yeah, actually, one question I had was about tokenization. If you could explain it a little bit better, but I think you went into it. So maybe on that front, if you could give us one or two examples of what would be the advantages of tokenization, which I presume would come in the form of some smart contracts. If you can give us an example or so of that. And then
Sure,
I have another
sure.
question. The issue of central bank digital currencies by central banks, that means that they will displace banks. Because from that point of view, many of the things that now are done by banks will be done by the central bank through a CBDC. So if you can address however
Sure.
much of this.
Sure, thank you. Both are great questions. So let me start with tokenization and what it might actually promise for future. The tokenization, because of the programmability nature and because of always on nature, first of all, it brings in the opportunity of 24/7 payments or financial services. So it's no more batch processing. That's one. And the more exciting one is the programmability, where actually you can write the code in the token itself in a way that you can put certain, for example, conditions for payments. So it actually has a potential to replace many of the financial instruments that we see. For example, letter of guarantees. Why do we need letter of guarantees today? It's almost like a trust intermediation between two parties where one party performs their obligations. After that happens, a payment is made, right? So you can actually replace that with a programmable token. That's why I think it's super exciting, and it promises a lot of opportunities and different models that probably we don't foresee today. With regards to your question about central bank digital currencies, point on, what will really matter is the design of the CBDC. So there are two different models of central bank digital currencies. One is wholesale, where the consumers, us, we don't touch CBDC, but it is more used interbank and between the institutional banks or investors and the central bank. And then the second one is the retail CBDC, where the central bank actually distributes the money directly to the users, us or corporates. And again, within the retail one, there might be one-tier models, two-tier models. So the design choices of the central banks will be very much driving the probability of banks being disintermediated. Having said that, if the central banks, choose to use retail model, or where they actually distribute the money themselves directly, that means actually they will need to tackle all the KYC requirements, the underlying systems, which so far with the experiments of proof of concepts that central banks are designing, we don't see the inclination or tendency towards that, like central banks owning the KYC for individuals or corporates. But I think it's more of a, not wait and see, but like explore together, discover. That's why we as CITI, we are actually joining several proofs of concepts with central banks around the world.
And now we're running out of time, but I have to get this question in. Do you have any special advice for banks that you can give? You already gave one example where the role guarantee are probably going to go out the window. But this will not only be that is taking away instruments from banks, but probably adding to them. Anything special that you have for banks in closing?
Thank you. That's a great question. Two things. One is definitely for us as the banks, we need to keep our mindsets open for the future possibilities. And embrace the change, because we think digital money and fiat money will live together going forward. So that's one. The second one is, while we are open for opportunities and we explore the different formats of money, like digital money, I think we also as banks have a mandate and responsibility to make sure we actually upgrade our payment systems, financial infrastructure in a way that financial services are more democratized, and we target financial inclusion, which might actually solve for majority of the reasons that central banks or other institutions are exploring this type of tokenized money. So we as banks have a responsibility to define the future of money, future of financial services, working closer with each other, working closer with central banks, regulators, and our clients.
Okay, well, unfortunately we're out of time. Thank you much, Gulru. It has been very entertaining. Thank you for being with us, and hopefully next year we'll have you again at the Delphi Economic Forum, but this time in person, in the wonderful Delphi environment. Thanks again.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's my pleasure. I'm so much looking forward to seeing you in person.
Okay, thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.